Flamenco doesn't have to be difficult. Let me show you how. This solo piece you just heard is called Soleá, and Soleá is one of the most important styles within the flamenco. And I'm going to teach you it step by step, using scores and different speeds to really get into the details of this beautiful solo. At the end of the video, I'll give you some extra tips to make it sound even more interesting. My name is Tino van der Sman. I'm Dutch and live in Seville since 1999. Here I live and work as a professional flamenco guitar player. Let's look at this solo step by step. First of all, I need to explain a little bit about the rhythm. We're going to do Soleá, that has 12 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We slightly emphasize the 3, 6, 8, 10 and 12. Nothing to think about too much, we're just going to do it. We play the E chord, and now with ring finger and middle finger, we just do downstrokes. Okay, once we got that, we add a legato with our little finger. Okay, now we only have to add the rhythm. Let's count along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's it. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Until the 6. Okay? Once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we play a little melody. Legato from the E to the F. Open G string. Go back to the F. And this is actually E, but just simplified. So we have to make sure that we don't play the 5th. We just play from the 4th. Okay, from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you counted along, you will notice that we stopped on the 10, the beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 2 beats in the air. That's the first step. This is called llamada, and it's used to open up a soleá. We're going to continue now with something with a melody that's called escobilla, and it's used to accompany dancers, but we can also play it without dance. Okay? Escobilla is another word for footwork, that's why it's called like that. And it's actually based on A minor, C, F. That's the harmony, but we're not going to play it, but just so you know. It's a combination of doing things with your thumb, melodies with your thumb, and an index. You see? That's the first part. Okay, now we're in the C chord, index, and now we play these 2 chords. It's an F, this chord, but simplified. We use it a lot in flamenco. The E chord from the first, from the llamada, it's the same chord. Once again. Okay, and now from here there's a melody that occupies the space from the 10 to the 12, and it's something that comes back constantly. Okay? Okay, so it's an E chord, and you play the 6th string with your thumb, then index, you skip the 5th with your thumb, and you just... and the last one again with your index. So it would be 10, 11, 12. 10, 11, 12. So how does it fit in the rhythm? Play 2 times. Okay, so the second time we're going to leave it on the 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Exactly as in the Yamada. It's a way to open up a little bit of space so we can breathe before we continue to something else. So we're from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12. Okay, so that would be the first part. We just did Yamada and Escobilla. Let's continue with another element of the Soleá, which is called falseta. Falseta is a melodic variation of the rhythm. Okay, everyone has his own falsetto. There's thousands of falsetas. This is just one of them. We're going to use our thumb technique. Just a little detail about the thumb. We like to rest it on the next string when we play. So if you play the 6 strings, we like it to rest on the 5th. And how do you play the string? I always tell, with every resting technique, picado or even arpeggio, non-resting techniques, it's interesting to imagine a water drop falling from a rooftop. This image gives a profound and relaxed sound. That's what we're looking for. Okay? So try to avoid to do things like this or just like this. Just your thumb is like a water drop falling from a rooftop. Simplifying the technique. We're going to play the falseta. We play our little finger in the G sharp. And now we play 3 strings. And it's a little bit, this sound is like creepy, but we like it. Very easy. 3 strings in a row, and we go back to the B, ligado, F, E. And then we learned this melody before. We play 2 times, and that's 12 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You see? So if you play it 2 times, it covers up 1 compass. Okay, typical structure in the Soleá. And then we go on. We make a variation. It's like an answer to the first 2 phrases, and it's a longer phrase. Okay, it starts the same, but now we go. Practice that a couple of times. Actually, we're going to do the same all the time, but just dropping 1 string. So now we repeat the phrase, but actually from the 5th string. And now we repeat the phrase, but from the 4th string. Once again. That's the first one. We go back to the C, 3 strings. We go back to the F. And now we change. We go back to home. And the 10, 11, 12 again. So it would be okay from the top. Let's play it from the top, what we have until now. Okay. Llamada, escobilla, falseta. One element missing, which is compás. It's a way with strumming technique that we mark the rhythm. Okay? And we use these chords. F. So this is actually an official F, but there's a lot of ways to play F. And this is an easy way, and in flamenco we like it, with the open string of the E string. You can even play the fifth with it. Okay? And then we go to the C chord. We go back to the F. And we go to this small melody that we learned before. 10, 11, 12. So how can I mark the rhythm now with strumming technique? Well, it's a very easy strumming technique, which I use quite a lot, which is downstrokes with ring finger and middle finger together, upstroke with index. So it's 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you will notice that the change from that's a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning. Yeah? Don't make a lot of changes in your right hand. The more you can do it from the same position of your right hand, the easier it will get. So to practice is 9, 10. These two together. Okay? And now we play it. Just practice it a couple of times. Once you got it, you play the whole part. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Let's do from the top again. All what we learned till now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6. One element missing to finish off. So we started up with a llamada to get into the ambience, to create an ambience of soleá, and we also use a llamada to close off, to stop the soleá. In this case, I'm going to change it. I'm going to do it with chords. We already know the chords. We already did them. We're going to add another one, which is the G. Which is sliding up and sliding down. Just one fret. That's the harmony. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And we're doing it with our thumb. We're playing it like really a statement, so this is what I had to offer. We're going home. But now we're on the 6 and we have to finish on the 10. We usually end the Solia on the 10. And that's a melody we did before as well. Okay, in the Yamada, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the whole melody of the last compass would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going home. We finished our concert. Some extra things. Just to spice up the Solia, we're going to do 2 little extra things. First of all, we're going to add a golpe. Golpe is a percussion instrument that has our guitar, which is tapping the guitar with our ring finger. Needless to say that we need some protection, big heart, on your guitar to not damage our guitar to do the golpe. For example, to emphasize the accents of the Solia, remember 3, 6, 8, 10 and 12, we can use the golpe, for example. In the Yamada, we did it like that until now, but we can also do it 1, 2, 3 with our index on the 3. And while we do the index, we also do a golpe. So, see, I'm emphasizing the accents like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So how can we do the golpe? It needs some practice, okay? So we just drop like that our golpe and we pull our index in. And when you feel comfortable, you just drop your index. Okay? And it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And you can also do it here. Or like this. So together with our thumb. So like this. This is the movement. That's another place where we can put it in. And also in the compass. Okay? Annular and ring finger down. Index up. And on the accents, instead of going down with these two, we're going down with the index and golpe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? And also in this melody, on the 12, we also do a golpe. So those are the moments. Let's play the Solia together with these little details. The falsetto doesn't have anything except for I'm going to play the Solia now very slowly, so you can play along with the score. If you want it even slower, you can push the setting button and slow down the speed of the video. Some extra things still to lighten up the solia. The muting. For example, this melody. It's more interesting to do with the muting than without. Without muting would sound... But as flamenco is very rhythmical and muting emphasizes the rhythm, we can mute the G with our left hand. We lift, and also the F, we lift it up and we open up the last chord. Okay, so see, it's a completely different ambience. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If you want to learn more, please check out the Online Flamenco Academy. At the Online Flamenco Academy, you'll find a community of guitarists and teachers eager to generously share their knowledge so you can learn in the best way possible. In the Academy, you'll find material created by me and some of my top-level colleagues. Together, we've created a curriculum for you to follow and become a qualified flamenco guitarist in the fastest and most effective way possible. You will learn to master all the styles and techniques, as well as some of the knowledge that would normally require you to travel to Spain and visit us. The videos are high quality, with close-ups and tablatures available for each lesson. If you don't speak Spanish, don't worry, because all of the material is professionally subtitled. Also, you will have access to our dynamic community of flamenco guitarists, with whom you can connect. Click on the link in the description for more information. Greetings from Seville, and I hope to see you soon.